Hello to everybody. Today I'm talking about Almuten in Hellenistic astrology. It's about a deep dive into planetary rulership and hidden power. What is Almuten? This word might sound exotic, but it's actually one of the most fascinating and practical tools in the traditional astrologer's toolkit. Rooted in Arabic astrology and blended into Hellenistic and medieval techniques, Almuten helps us uncover the true planetary authority over specific points in the chart, like the ascendant, the moon, or even a house cusp. While Hellenistic astrologers didn't use the word Almuten as such, they often calculated a planet's overall influence in a way that anticipates this method. Think of the Almuten as the planet that wins the throne after a competition between all the rulers connected to a certain degree or topic. If we take the degree of the ascendant, for example, the Almuten of that degree tells us who really holds the reins of the native's life direction, not just the sign ruler, but the planet with the most essential dignity at the point. In this way, Almuten acts as a kind of hidden governor or core manager behind the scenes. This concept comes from Arabic astrologers like Al-Kabisi, Ibn Ezra, and Al-Biruni, who formalized methods of weighting planetary dignity, like rulership by sign, exaltation, triplicity, term, and phase, to determine which planet had the strongest influence over any given degree. But similar ideas are implied in Hellenistic texts, while multiple rulers of a sign are used in nuance. In fact, in Valen's anthology, we see the planets are given weight based on their participation in rulership structures, triplicity, sect, and other layering factors. While Valens doesn't tally up dignity points like a medieval astrologer, he does recognize hierarchy between rulers. This opens the door to the Almuten's use, especially when blending Hellenistic and Arabic techniques. If the Almuten is the planet that holds the most essential dignity at a certain degree of chart point, then calculating it is all about finding out which planet has the most authority in that spot, like a mini electoral contest among rulers. Even though the term Almuten comes from Arabic astrology, the method is fully compatible with Hellenistic dignities, especially when you are comfortable blending traditional rulership schemes with a practical lens. Let's break it down in a simple and useful way. Step 1. Choose the degree or point you want to investigate. So you can calculate an Almuten for the degree of the ascendant, for life path and personality, the degree of the sun, for vitality and personal essence, for the degree of the moon, for the soul or emotional body, for midheaven, for career and public reputation, a house cusp to discover who really governs that life area, the part of fortune, part of spirit, or part of eros, even the whole chart, often called the Almuten figuris. So, you are essentially asking which planet dominates this specific area of my chart. Step 2 is to note the essential dignities. Each degree in the zodiac may be ruled by multiple planets, depending on different levels of essential dignity. For example, sign rulership 5 points, exaltation 4 points, triplicity 3 points, term or bound 2 points, phase or decan 1 point. For each degree, note which planet rules that degree in each of these dignity categories. In Hellenistic astrology, term and phase rulers vary slightly depending on whether you use Egyptian, Ptolemaic, or Chaldean tables. Most Hellenistic astrologers stick with Egyptian terms and Chaldean phases. The third step is to identify the sect. Sect, as you already know, is crucial in Hellenistic astrology. A planet of the correct sect, diurnal or nocturnal, gains strength and weight in interpretation, even if not always expressed in raw dignity points. For example, in day chart, Sun above the horizon means favoring Sun, Jupiter, and Saturn. In night charts, Sun is below under the horizon and favoring Moon, Venus, and Mars. While the basic Almuten scoring system is mathematical, you can optionally give a small bonus, for example 1 point, to a planet of the right sect, especially if you are trying to blend strict scoring with Hellenistic nuance. The fourth step is tally the points. You know total the points for each planet based on their rulership or the degree. For example, Almuten of a point at 25 degree Leo, using Egyptian terms and Chaldean phases. Sign ruler of Leo, it's Sun, 5 points. Exaltation, we don't have. Triplicity, it's a fire and day chart, so Sun gets 3 points. Term, we have Venus, 2 points. Phase, we have Mars, 1 point. So scoring a result is that the Sun have 8 points, Venus 2 points, and Mars 1 point. So Sun is the winner. So Almuten of the ascendant is the Sun with 8 dignity points. Step 5. Add optional qualifiers. So this means if you want a more nuanced take that fits traditional Hellenistic astrology, consider: is the planet in sect? Is the planet angular or cadent? Is the planet in its own house, exalted or debilitated? Is the planet combust, retrograde, or under the beams? This won't change the base Almuten calculation, but they will color your interpretation. Almuten figuris is the Almuten of the whole chart. This is a broader application, mostly formalized by medieval astrologers like Bonatti, still useful in a Hellenistic context. To find the Almuten figuris, take the degrees of ascendant, sun, moon, lot of fortune, midheaven. Then calculate the dignity points for each of these 5 degrees. The planet with the highest total dignity across all 5 becomes the chart's spiritual core, a kind of master key to the native's temperament, calling an internal compass. Even in Hellenistic astrology, the repetition of a planet's rulership over multiple points, like ascendant, sect, light, lot of spirits, indicate dominance and therefore Almuten-like status, even if not formally calculated. So, as a checklist for finding Almuten, you have the following steps. Pick the degree or point of interest. List all planets that have dignity over the degree, sign, triplicity, and so on. Use traditional dignity values. As I said, the points. Add optional +1 if planet is of correct sect. Tally scores. Highest scoring planet, it's your Almuten. Interpret it based on condition, house, and aspects. Why all this matters in real life? Once you know which planet is the true background force behind your ascendant, your career point, or even your emotional compass, you can better understand your actual strength, not just what your sun sign says. Discover hidden talents tied to the planet, align with its archetype to unlock long-term growth. Watch transits and time periods related to it for predictive insight. You can also integrate the Almuten into electional astrology, choosing the right time for events, in horary astrology, answering to questions. The Almuten system gives you a hidden entry point into a personal power. It's not always visible or on the surface, but when you find it, you discover where your deepest potential lives. It's the planet that says, I might not be the loudest, but I am the one really pulling the strings behind the scenes. Yeah, it's very interesting. So look in your natal chart, try to find a point, let's say the rising sign ascendant, and calculate which is the Almuten. I'm waiting your questions and comments down below. Until next time, I wish you all the best. Bye bye.